1. When Enoch Cobtail woke that morning, he felt for a single instant at peace. Then a familiar pit formed in his stomach, the blood draining from his gut as he remembered himself in the midst of a crisis. Several months earlier, he had signed his own death warrant, his whole family's in fact, and then proceeded to print copies enough for every household in the enclave, not to mention the kingdom at large. Granted, he had signed his name Merlin, of the Calvine backwood sort, not Enoch Cobtail, but there were plenty of things he had not considered, like how few typewriters there must be on the whole immaculate microcontinent of Anabasis. What had felt cathartic in the moment? The writing of it, the levying of heinous allegations against the monarchy, the laying bare of Lord Garron's narcissism and cowardice, the sneaking about at night to deliver the twined bundle of copy into the birdhouse-shaped community library. In hindsight, it had all been so shamefully stupid. If he could take it back without question, he would, because even his regret at this point was worth nothing. There was no recourse, no apology, no offering of penance that could save him. All he could do was wait for the axe to fall. But for now he was alone, and no one was watching. Enoch, like most wood mice, could hear very well, and there were no voices in the woods to speak of, not in his proximity nor beyond. And anyway, most folks kept their own counsel out here, and the dumb beasts kept their distance. He brushed aside a stale covering of leaves with one leather shoe, but all he found beneath it were mushrooms. He adjusted his glasses. Knobby tops. Poisonous. No matter. His satchel was already full. At this point, he wasn't really looking for mushrooms anyway. In under an hour, he'd foraged enough roots and wild greens to make for a decent supper, along with whatever was in their stores at home. What he was still doing out here, admittedly, was hiding. Even though he and Maple agreed to carry on as usual, so as not to arouse suspicion, Enoch thought it safer he wander for food at this hour, not her. But he'd now been away for an hour, quite a stretch of time for Maple and the children to be alone in the house. What if somebody had come by looking for him and making inquiries? Then again, maybe no one was onto him yet. He doubted the nobles even knew who he was, much less suspected him of treason. Magistrate Cat Kinbale knew him, as did his 3 obnoxious vassals. But Enoch guessed whatever pain they had read in his face, they would fail to fathom as pain enough for him to have written common sense. No, it wasn't so much the magistrate and the vassals who were of concern to Enoch. It was Ballyhoo the mime. The very thought of him was terrifying.